We have officially entered the month of June, and the birthstone for June, of course, is pearl. And there are many, many gorgeous pearl tiaras out there. But today we're going to talk about one from the Dutch collection called the Württemberg Ornate Pearl Tiara. And this one has sort of an interesting and you could say contentious history, and it is worn by the Dutch ladies and still the favorite of the former Queen Beatrix. So I'm going to share with you guys a bit more about the Württemberg tiara today. But if you haven't been to Royal Fashion News, my name is Brittany. We talk about all things that sparkle, especially here on Tiara Tuesday. So if you guys are interested in subscribing, feel free to hit that button. I would absolutely love to have you back. So when it comes to choosing what tiara to go over, I mean, it's easy when there's like a state visit going on, but right now we don't have any except for later this month in the UK between the United Kingdom and Japan. But I thought I would talk about one of the pearl tiaras we haven't covered yet, because I've covered the two major ones in the British collection, of course, which is the Vladimir tiara and also the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara. And so you can catch both those videos and links down below. But when it comes to the Dutch, they have one of the best tiara collections in Europe. And in fact, I sort of debate which tiara collection is better, the Swedes or the Dutch, because the Dutch do have the Stuart tiara, many other tiaras, and then the Swedes obviously have the Braganza and other major tiaras as well, many from the court of Napoleon, which I think is just such a unique. But this one is also a unique one within the Dutch collection and could be the oldest one within the Dutch collection, but this is somewhat up for debate. So the Württemberg tiara is made up of 50 round pearls, 11 pear-shaped pearls, and actually has 4 different settings. So number 1 has all 11 pear-shaped pearls in the grandest configuration. The second one has 5 of the pear-shaped pearls on top of the tiara. There's also one with 6 pearls in between the top elements. And then number 4 is without any of the pearls. And so depending on which configuration you put this in, this tiara can be quite grand, or it can be still grand, but not quite as high. And so this tiara also has 2 origin stories. So the first is that the tiara originally belonged to Queen Sophie, who was born a princess of Rttenburg, hence the name, and is the oldest in the Dutch collection. In this version, it was originally created in 1839 by jeweler A.H. Kahn in Stuttgart. And this is a bit contentious. But the alternative origin story, you could say, is that it was altered or created by John Edward Sherman and Co. in Frankfurt in 1897 for Queen Wilhelmina. And it's actually kind of interesting how she ended up with this tiara from Queen Sophie, because Queen Sophie is not her mother. She would be her stepmother, technically, because that was her father's first wife. And so the king and his first wife, Sophie, had 3 children, 3 boys. Actually, I think they had a fourth, but one of them died in infancy, but they had 3 boys, all of whom died before the king died. And so the king later married Queen Emma, and Emma had Wilhelmina. So Wilhelmina, even though she had 3 older brothers, actually ended up on the throne herself. And that's how she ended up with this particular tiara. And so when Queen Juliana, Wilhelmina's daughter, inherited the throne, she preferred the Stuart tiara to the Württemberg. And in fact, Wilhelmina didn't wear it all that often either, which could be considered one of the grandest in the Dutch collection. I would say it almost leaned towards being one of the big gun tiaras, as we like to call them. But she did go ahead and place it within the family's foundation so that the tiara could be kept within the family and wouldn't have to worry about being sold. Many families have these foundations set up, and so that all the jewels within the family stay with the foundation. And so that way, when somebody dies, it's not hit with inheritance taxes. It's all contained together so that future generations can use it and they can keep the collections together. Though her mother, Queen Juliana, wasn't a big fan, Beatrix really did like the Württemberg tiara. In fact, you could say it was her favorite tiara. She wore it on her wedding day in 1966, and she even had the embroidery of her gown mimic the design of the tiara. She also wore it in the 3rd setting during the Danish state visit to the Netherlands in 1975, and she wore it pretty frequently throughout her reign, and even she has worn it after her abdication. And it seems to be her first choice when she needs something grand to wear. And I would say more of the largest tiaras in the collection would be the sapphire tiara and also the Stuart tiara. The Stuart tiara is obviously the grandest within the family, but Queen Beatrix apparently had a lot of trouble with headaches, and so she preferred the rttenburg if she really needed something with a higher profile. And she also had really high hairs. And since Maxima has become queen, so this was Beatrix's daughter-in-law, Beatrix abdicated in 2013, Maxima has only worn this tiara 4 times, and she only recently wore it in actually the 2nd setting. She has preferred the 4th setting, the lowest setting, and it seems to be one that's not her first go-to. She really prefers the Stuart, and she wears the Stuart quite a lot, and we love Maxima for that. And the tiara is often paired with the Romanov pearl and diamond stomacher. And so this is one of actually the oldest pieces of jewelry within the royal collection. So guys, this is the rttenburg Ornate pearl tiara for all of you guys who have birthdays in June. Happy birthday. And this is a tiara maybe that you like that represents that fabulous birthstone. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you next week on the next Tiara Tuesday. Bye.
We don't count the carats, we count the centuries.